friends. My name is Constance and this is Cruelty Free Musings. Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm going to be telling you about my monthly budgeting adventure, which I am going to be starting. Basically, I've already started. It's August and I have implemented a budget for August, but I'm telling you about it now that I've done a trial run, sort of. Yay, coffee. So let's get into it. Let us get into it. The notes. All right, so the basics. I get $200 a month. The categories that I include in my budget. We all know the basic concept of a budget, right? You are limited to the amount of money that you can spend for certain categories. I am allowing myself $200 for all of my hobbies, basically. All right, so that means that makeup and skincare beyond the necessary. So like if I run out of cleanser, that's not included. If I run out of makeup remover, that's not included. If I run out of moisturizer, that's not included. Okay, so I can replace the basic elements of my skincare without pulling out of my budget. But if I want to add a new serum, I have to do that out of my budget. Like, I have a serum that I enjoy, an essence actually, right now. So I could replace that one. But if I wanted to add a new one, then I would need to spend out of my budget. Right, kind of makes sense? Alright, so makeup, skincare, all makeup is frivolity. Like, I'm fine not wearing makeup. I just really enjoy playing with color, and this is a great avenue to do it. Yarn, fiber. Do you see that pile of color over there? That is wool, which has been carded and pulled into roving and then dyed, so you can spin it into yarn using a spindle or a wheel. That is also one of my hobbies. I don't spend on it super frequently. Yarn, likewise, I don't spend on it super frequently, but when I do, it does come out of my budget. I don't spend on yarn an awful lot because I have a massive collection of yarn. Like, I have a little storage section there. I have a little storage, like 3 tiers and 2 and 3 cubes, 2 cubes and then 1 cube, and it doesn't, all of my things don't fit on it, even though I've massively pared back what I own. So like, I have a collection. Most of the time, if I want to make something, I go to my stash and I pull something out and I'm like, cool, let's do this. So I don't spend on it very often. When I do, it comes out of my budget. Paper. This is a Clairefontaine notebook. I got this on Amazon and I think it was like $15 for a 3-pack, so it's not like they're super expensive. But it's nice paper and it's fountain pen quality, so like my pretty ink will show up and not bleed into the paper and be super messy. And then fountain pens and ink are also included in my budget because I don't want to overspend just because I like pretty things, right? So the categories that I have included are my hobbies, all of the things that I daydream about, and, all of the things that I enjoy collecting. Another thing that is included is electronics that only I will use. So, for example, I bought a pair of Bluetooth earbuds, and those are mine, and that came out of, it didn't come out of my budget, but it did come out of my monthly 3 purchases, which is what I was doing before today, or before the month of August. The things that are not included, because this is also important to budgeting, the things that are not included are clothes, which you might think would be weird because, I definitely have an image and I am a particular kind of person, and I buy clothes which reflect my particular image. But I don't buy clothes really at all. I will buy clothes once or twice a year. I do shop for clothes pretty frequently. I find that enjoyable, which is to say I will browse online and look at websites that have things at a discounted price, like ThreadUp, and I'll add things to my favorites and stuff like that, but I don't actually buy clothes really at all. So, clothes don't count because I don't buy them that, I don't daydream about clothes. I'm not like, you know what I really need to perfect my image. Yeah, I don't do the image perfecting thing, which is maybe why clothes become a problem for a lot of people. It's for me, it's about comfort and functionality. It's not about it is about the image, but it's not about the image. Look, okay, I don't have an explanation for why clothes don't count and yarn does, because I buy them at about the same frequency. My only contribution to this, actually, is that if I say to Bear, I am going to buy some new clothes to refresh my closet, he'll be like, okay, sure. If I tell him I am buying yarn, he'll be like, why? You have an entire storage organization thing. Why? So that's sort of the thing that divides things into hobby versus necessity for me. Like, I don't have to justify clothes purchases to Bear. He's like, okay, sure. If you want to refresh your closet, you can do that. He doesn't have a problem with that. It's not something that he would object to spending our shared finances on. But if I am spending an awful lot on hobby stuff, he'll be like, and you're doing this, why? So that's kind of the distinction. Another thing that doesn't count is I do the grocery shopping. I stock up on supplies for Bear. I make sure that he has an exfoliating cleanser for his back. I make sure that he has razors. Those don't count. If I buy makeup at the grocery store, that counts against my budget. If I buy razors for Husbear, or for myself actually, at the store, that doesn't count against my budget. Household necessities. This again is something that I have actually a stricter definition of what I would consider to be a household necessity than Bear does. If I say, hey, I want to buy a new saucepan and get rid of this old saucepan, he's like, okay, sure. I don't care. As long as things aren't bursting out of the drawers, which we have plenty of space in our kitchen, he's pretty much okay with it. We just got rid of a bunch of silverware that got rusty. And he's like, we should probably replace some of this silverware. And that's like the extent of his opinion on household things. He's like, we need to have enough plates, we need to have enough bowls, we need to have enough silverware. Apart from that, he doesn't really do the cooking. He doesn't really care. Also, things that don't count: salon services, food, and tea. Going out to eat doesn't count. Buying food doesn't count against my budget. Buying tea doesn't count against my budget. I do buy tea frivolously, and I have made it count against my purchases in the past. But I have a lot of tea right now. I don't feel the need to buy more tea. So I consider that to be like a necessity, sort of, where like I want a couple of varieties of tea, and then once I've used up all of a variety of tea, then I'll buy more tea. But I don't, it's not a frivolity. It is something which I do and which Bear does not, but it is, it leans more towards necessity than it does towards frivolity, if that makes sense. This is like a pleasure, a sensual pleasure, rather than a frivolity. And I also don't overspend on it. And then salon services, I get my hair cut about twice a year. Does not count. Never counts. Doesn't. Even if I get my hair dyed, even if I get my hair colored, it doesn't count towards my budget, because like I do it once a year. Bear doesn't care. So if I've told him how much it costs to get my hair colored, and he's like, that's kind of a lot. And then I tell him I do it once a year, and he's like, sure, okay, whatever. So this is, it's really not anything that he would consider a hobby. So that's really where my budget came from. He was like, if you're spending more than $200 on your hobby stuff, not like he would actually say that he doesn't want me to do this kind of budgeting. He's like, don't feel like you need to restrict yourself. Just as that the $200 mark is it's just something to be aware of. Well, for me to be aware of how much I'm spending in a month, I need to have a budget. I need to have a reason not to spend more than $200. So here we go. This is my budget, $200 a month. A couple more minor notes. Updates. I don't plan on doing monthly hauls. I do plan on doing updates, how I'm feeling about budgeting, what I've learned, that sort of thing. They're not going to be monthly because, as I have mentioned, I post once a week. This is another one of my hobbies. It doesn't cost me anything though, because I have all of the things that I use to record on anyway. I post once a week. I don't plan on devoting one of those monthly 4 uploads to an update on my budget because I have found that to be too restricting in the past. It also depends on when I edit things and where things are in the edit queue and where things are in the upload queue. So expect to see budget updates every 6 weeks or 2 months or so. This is not going to be a super regular thing. Not every month on the dot. No. And then I do have a couple of supplementary income things, which is basically I participate in Ebates. So every 3 months they will send me a payout. That gets added to my budget. So random small chunks of money that wind up in my PayPal balance get added to my budget. So I have a little bit of extra leeway. That's just how we do things. If we're selling one of Bear's board games and I am the person who is packaging it up and taking it to the post office, I am the person that gets the balance of cash after we sell it on a board game trading site. So that is how we do things. So the small amounts of money that wind up on my PayPal account, those are mine. I can spend them on my hobby stuff. They get added to my budget. And I believe that is everything that I wanted to cover. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you feel like. And goodbye for now.